TNA had their Feast or Fired match a week ago, and the briefcases were unveiled, and the loser with the fired briefcase, Steve Maclin, and former world champ, international champ, and I know that his contract had been coming up, but is this a ruse, or is Steve really gone from TNA?
And I need to be clear, because I feel like when I say the thing that I'm building in my brain, this comes with no knowledge. His contract had already expired, and he had gotten an extension, so he was technically on a new contract. And so when this match happened, my brain was like, "Oh no, it's gonna be Steve." I was like, "It's gonna be either Steve or Trey." And just because of everything else that happened with Trey recently, I was like, this could perpetuate that particular story. And so I felt like it was coming for one of them in particularly. I was like, no, because then they made a big deal about re-signing Trey, that I don't think they would go down that path. So I was like, oh no, I think it's going to be Maclin. I'm really curious what happens next. Is it turning into a story? Does he become the masked rider? I keep saying the masked rider. I know that's not the right name. But
Midnight Rider.
Midnight Rider. Sorry. Is he going to become the Midnight Rider in TNA? I think he brings so much to the table. He's such an aggressive competitor. The fact that he is former military and he works for military charities. Like he was on a special on Fox News about the work he was doing. I don't want to say it was Wounded Warriors for sure.
Tunnel of the Towers.
Thank you. I was like, wow, he has all these other connections too, and is a great talent. So I'm curious where he will land next. Because I want to see more of him. And I see him at Revolver, so I know I'll still see him, but I want to see more of him out there.
If he does end up in AEW or WWE, here is my suggestion. Steve could be presented as an all-American hero, but with an edge. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want him out in a Captain America suit or anything like that.
Right.
But a Wolverine, Hawkeye kind of persona, mm-hmm. where he's more silent but deadly.
Yeah.
The guy that comes in to fix things when it goes wrong. And you run the pieces about his military service. You run the pieces about, the Tunnel of the Towers work that he does and all the things that he's gone through, and just kind of remind everybody once in a while, this is an American hero. But you don't make him like a Sergeant Slaughter kind of American hero. Just have him be the guy. And I actually came up with a catchphrase for him. So Steve, if you use this, it's all good. Just when there's a big problem, Steve Maclin shows up and says, I've got it.
Yeah.
And he comes in and beats the living hell out of somebody. And every time someone's a little out of line, it's Steve Maclin time. And just turn that, have him be the mild-mannered guy just walking down the street. But when the time calls, let him loose. And
oh,
yeah, go ahead.
So in the Royal Rumble, the black mask comes out, and there's been some clips of like, well, look at his face. You could see a little through the mask. There was a little bit of facial hair on like above and below the lips, and then people were comparing like, well, it might be Logan Paul. And I'm like, no, but the guy under the black hood, even if it was Logan Paul for just the segment, I was like, the guy was too broad to be Logan, and I'm like, oh my god, it could be Maclin.
Oh god. See, I'd just be afraid.
Problem.
I would be afraid that WWE would kind of take it too far, but presenting Steve like that,
mm-hmm.
Would be, I think would be fantastic for him. It fits his personality.
Yeah,
he's not the goofy kind of, like I said, like a Sergeant Slaughter kind of dude, but he's very subtle. But when the time comes, he'll turn it on and he'll rip you apart. And, could you imagine the t-shirt sales that would say, I got it. People would buy that shirt.
Yeah.
And it's a theme that would actually resonate with a lot of people too. I think, just things are rough and not going well. I got it. And just keep him at an even keel. I love Steve to death. and whatever is going on, whether this is a storyline in TNA or he's really going somewhere else. And boy, wouldn't it be great if he got to get back there with Deonna Purrazzo, his wife, and do some damage in AEW. That would really help her out too.
I was thinking a lot about that too.
Yeah. So a lot of possibilities for Steve Maclin, but yes, he gets the fired brief.